Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Yes. Hi, Ben.
All right. Hi there. Still learning this Restream thing.
Yeah,
so I think
me too.
It's good, though. It's very powerful, very robust.
Extremely.
So I was saying to nobody previously, I was talking to myself. But what I was saying is a lot of what I talk about is very logical, as you mentioned last time. It's easy to understand. It's not really complicated. And we don't want to overthink. I always say smart people suffer from overthinkitis. We overthink, and it's very logical. But at the same time, it's nice to have validation. And I do a ton of research. I love doing research. I get most of my information not from bestsellers and Barnes and Noble type of books, but mostly from textbooks and research papers. And I've got thousands, literally thousands upon thousands of research papers. And I have nothing to do with them except they're in my library, and I refer back to them, of course. But I want to share them. And this Restream is going to give me an opportunity to share these things. So I was playing around with it earlier today, and I'm still learning, like we said. And I posted 3 articles I'm going to talk about here today. And this is all going to be about Parkinson's disease. Now, I know when I mentioned to you what we're going to talk about, and I said Parkinson's disease, you said, great, you got excited about it because it is sort of it's a very problematic health challenge. It doesn't affect a whole lot of people, but the rates are increasing dramatically. I think it's something like 90,000 people in the United States are going to be diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease. I'm not sure what the statistics are down under. But here in the United States, it's over the last 15 years or so, the incidence of Parkinson's disease patients has gone up by 50%. So it's something that's very serious. Rates are increasing. And the most problematic aspect of the condition is there's nothing doctors can do for it. And this is not unusual. This is just how part and parcel of the medical model. This is not about ripping on doctors. I have a lot of friends who are doctors. I say this all the time, but I want to keep repeating it because I want everybody to be clear about this. This is not about individual healthcare professionals, doctors. They're good people for the most part. There's bad apples everywhere, but for the most part, they're good people. They got into the business to help, to make a difference. They just don't have the tools to deal with what we call chronic degenerative disease. So one of the articles I got, and this is going to explain a lot here, if I could post it somehow. Bingo. Okay. So, I always talk about dirty blood, right? I say all disease is cell disease, and all cell disease is preceded by dirty blood. And again, this should not be biology and science and intimidating in any way. It's just logical. The blood is delivering oxygen and nutrients, and it's cleaning out toxicity to all the cells of the body, head to toe, all the organs of the body, all the tissues of the body. Everything in the body depends on the blood. This is why in Leviticus in the Bible it says the life of the body is in the blood. The blood is the sacred space. Not only is this the highway, the route for nutrients and oxygen and detoxification, but it's also the source of immune cells. And while the seat of immunity, the headquarters of immunity is the digestive system, the immune cells travel through the digestive system, so the blood is like an immune organ. So if you have an immune problem, an autoimmune problem, an inflammatory problem, that means all chronic degenerative diseases, almost by definition, it's in the blood. Nonetheless, this is from the International Journal of Molecular Sciences. Let me get my references here. The International Journal of Molecular Sciences. Where the heck did I put so I can read? I wanted to read some quotes from it. I don't know where it is, so I can't read you some quotes from it. But you can see, and this is from 2024. But again, you don't really need to have these kinds of things to prove what's just very logical. And that's really what the body is, preeminently logical. In any case, I was going to read some quotes from it. Maybe I can make this bigger and I can read some quotes from it here. Okay. The pivotal role of the vascular system in maintaining tissue homeostasis is highlighted as it serves for the conduit of oxygen delivery, nutrient delivery, and immune cells to vital organs and tissues. Due to the vital role of the vascular system in maintaining homeostasis, its dysfunction, characterized by impaired blood flow and vascular inflammation, emerges as a common denominator of degenerative disease. So again, you don't need to have proof, but this is just scientific literature that's really voluminous. There's lots of scientific literature that talks about the relationship between the blood and chronic degenerative disease. Why is this important? Because this is our point of power. How does the blood become distorted? How does it become messed up? How does it become inflamed and activated and immunoactivated? through only two ways. Number one, injection. If you inject things, that can happen. And people who inject drugs or can't really say what the other word I want to say, but people who inject things into their skin can also suffer from chronic degenerative diseases, including Parkinson's disease. But for the most part, it's the gut. Gastrointestinal involvement in Parkinson's disease, pathophysiology, diagnosis, and management. Please, people, this is the triangle of disease: digestive system, blood sugar system, cortisol, adrenal, thyroid axis, involving stress hormones, as well as steroid, sex hormones, estrogen particularly. So you've got a relationship between the digestive system, the blood sugar system, the adrenal thyroid complex that underlies all chronic degenerative disease. Of course, Parkinson's is just that. It's a chronic degenerative disease, but in many ways, it's just, arthritis of the brain. It's the same degeneration that occurs in different parts of the body. The degenerative process is not different in the brain or the joints or the skin or the heart or anywhere else. The degenerative process is generic. And that doesn't matter. What matters is what is causing or initiating the degenerative process. And that is where the blood toxicity issue comes in. And that's where gastrointestinal involvement comes in. Growing evidence suggests an increasing significance for the extent of gastrointestinal dysfunction in Parkinson's disease. You know, Parkinson's patients will have constipation issues up to 10 years before they have motor neuron or movement disorder symptoms, Parkinson's symptoms. So it's extremely common for Parkinson's patients to have a long history of constipation, which of course implies other digestive health issues. Nobody just has constipation. That implies other neurological or intestinal, neuromuscular problems, which can involve dysbiosis. It can involve nerve issues. So what do you do about it? Obviously, I don't need to beat a dead horse here. Triangle of disease, your blood sugar system or digestive system. By the way, there's also a relationship between blood sugar and Parkinson's symptoms, and some 50 to 80% of Parkinson's patients have distorted or disturbances in their blood sugar, dysglycemia, if you will. So that's involved also. But I want to really focus on the GI, the intestinal aspect of this illness. I was talking to a guy about 8 weeks ago, called me up from Alabama, had Parkinson's disease, young guy in his 50s, which is really tragic. And he didn't know what to do. He'd been going to doctors. They've been giving him Sinemet, which is the main treatment for Parkinson's disease. Sinemet is a replacement for the neurotransmitter that is not being made in sufficient amounts when you have Parkinson's. Real quickly, Parkinson's disease is marked by a deterioration of a part of the brain called the substantia nigra, which means black stuff. And this black stuff, which is, by the way, is black because of melanin pigment, is where dopamine is made when certain inflammatory factors build up in the brain itself, following toxicity in the blood, following a leaky gut and SIBO and gastrointestinal health problems, as well as dysglycemia, messed up blood sugar. When that happens, you get inflammation and ultimately death of the cells that make this neurotransmitter dopamine in the substantia nigra. So the question is, what do you do about it? There's nothing the doctors can do about it. They can replace the dopamine. They give you drugs, either precursors or analogs of dopamine. But really, they'll work a little bit. They'll help with the symptoms a little bit, but they're not great, especially if you're in the later stages of Parkinson's disease. They can cause brain problems over time. They can cause problems with the brain. It's not a great idea to play around with dopamine unless you have no other alternatives, which for most people, they don't have an alternative because they don't know what I'm talking about here, because the doctors aren't telling them. So this is your alternative. I talked to this guy in Alabama. He'd been doing the Sinemet, nothing. It was getting worse. So I guess he heard me on Coast to Coast, and I talked to him. Within 1 week, I put him on a food diet, or I asked him to do a food diary and eliminate problem foods, etc. 1 week, he started to notice results in 1 week. And he'd been going to doctors for years, and all they could give him was a drug which helped with the symptoms a little bit. I'm just a guy on the telephone, just gave him a few basic instructions, and over the course of weeks, his condition got gradually better and better and better. I haven't heard from him for a few weeks now, so I think he doesn't need me anymore. Hopefully he doesn't need me anymore. But the point is that this is so easy to do. It's so easy for anybody to do. And while the medical model is helpless, we can do this ourselves from the comfort of our own kitchens. So anyway, what do you do? First of all, food diary. Always, always, always. We talked about a food diary last time. Always a food diary. Whenever you have a chronic degenerative disease, you want to do a food diary. Why? Number one, it gets you involved in your healing process. So you start to feel like you have some control. And secondly, you're going to see things that you're going to be blown away about. You're going to see, oh my God, every time I have oatmeal, every time I have cereal, every time I have bread, whatever it is, every time I have certain things, my tremors get worse, or my skin gets worse, whatever your symptoms are. In the case of Parkinson's disease, you'll notice your tremors get worse. For Chris, this guy in Alabama, he noticed when he ate bread and processed food, his tremors would get worse. Nobody told him this. Nobody told him this. He had no idea that he was eating foods that were making his tremors worse, but very likely causing the problem in the first place. So food diary, then you eliminate problem foods. Then you start to add in nutritional supplements specifically for the digestive system. Specifically for the digestive system. You notice we're talking about the head here, but we're working with the digestive system. This is kind of weird, unless you've been listening to me speak for years. I've been talking about this. For most people, it's really weird. Hey, I got a brain problem. What do I worry about my intestine? It's called the gut-brain axis. So there's supplements that you could take that help with digestive support. Longevity's got some great digestive support supplements. They've got the digestive support pack, or digestive healthy digestion pack, it's called. The Daily Digest, which is like a packet, a daily packet that you open up, and you've got various digestive health supplements. The Ultimate Enzymes, which not only work to help you digest your food, help you break down proteins, but also have anti-inflammatory properties on their own and blood cleaning properties on their own when taken on an empty stomach. So take your Ultimate Enzymes with food, they'll help you digest your food. Take it on an empty stomach, it'll help clean your blood and provide some anti-inflammatory and pro-healing benefits as well. Also, can't go without the I-26 for all leaky gut issues. I-26, hyperimmune egg, specifically formulated from eggs that come from chickens that have been given an antigen, a bad guy, if you will, injected. And then in response, the chicken's immune system makes antibodies. Those antibodies come out in the eggs and the egg powder. And those antibodies are specific for the bad bacteria that live in your intestine when you're dealing with SIBO. So I-26, remember, SIBO is really where it all starts. Leaky gut is what we notice. That's really the source of the blood toxicity, but it all begins with dysbiosis, messed up gut bacteria. So I-26, Nightly Essence, Ultimate Microbiome. You might want to throw in Dr. Ari Azza's Liver Cleanse. Of course, all of this is built around the Healthy Start Pack. The three products, the OsteoFX and the Beyond Tangy Tangerine and the Ultimate EFA or Ultimate EFA Plus, give you the mighty 90 essential nutrients. And then the digestive support is built around that. Listen, if you have Parkinson's, there's no way that if you do a food diary and start eliminating problem foods and then use digestive support supplements and really pay attention to what you eat so you're not triggering or causing any inflammatory issues, there's no way that you're not going to notice results, and quickly, without drugs. And the beautiful thing about these strategies, people, is that you're going to be adding years to your life. With drugs, you may have a reduction in your symptoms, but in the long run, you're going to be shortening your lifespan. So there are so many strategies that we can use here. I'm going to show you one more study here. From the comfort of our own homes, without medical intervention, that can help us, number one, prevent Parkinson's symptoms from showing up. And number two, if you have Parkinson's, slow down its progression or even reverse its progression, or reverse the disease, as my friend in Alabama, or my patient in Alabama can attest to. All right, there's one more. Oh, this is really cool. This is, check this out. This is about a protein called alpha-synuclein. Now, alpha-synuclein is thought to be the bad guy. So you're going to start to see drugs that are specifically designed for alpha-synuclein and to help inhibit alpha-synuclein production, blah, blah, blah. Where does it come from? Guess where? The intestine. Let's see if it's in this article here. No, it's not in this particular article, but there was a really great quote. Oh, no, it is in this article. Here it is. Check this out. This one. Abnormal forms of alpha-synuclein trigger progressive neuron death. Progressive neuron death, excuse me here. Progressive neuron death through mitochondrial impairment and alteration of calcium homeostasis, not only in Parkinson's disease, but also in other neurodegenerative disorders, such as dementia. And my favorite here, check this out. multiple system atrophy. What does that mean? That means everything. Multiple system atrophy is when everything atrophies or deteriorates or degenerates. This alpha-synuclein protein is not only associated with Parkinson's, but it's associated with dementia and this crazy thing, multiple system atrophy. I always make a joke. I say there's only one disease. It's called my body is falling apart disease, MBFA disease. Well, this exemplifies MBFA disease, multiple system atrophy. Where does it come from? They're blaming alpha-synuclein. Alpha-synuclein is produced in the intestine by bacteria, bad bacteria. The alpha-synuclein actually travels through a leaky gut, travels in the blood, gets deposited. Actually, it goes through the nervous system, and it gets deposited in the brain where it aggregates. It builds up in the brain. So where does it start? In the intestine, people. It's not because I'm some food freak. I'm not a food freak. It's just that if we're sick, working with digestive health represents a powerful, powerful way to help address chronic degenerative diseases like Parkinson's disease. You still need the Mighty 90 essential nutrients. And by the way, whenever you have a brain issue, you want to think fats, like your ultimate EFAs, as well as fatty vitamins, like vitamins D, E, A, and K. And whenever you have a brain problem, you want to think B for brain, B vitamins, all the B vitamins. The brain is burning through B vitamins really fast. That's one of my favorite things about the Beyond Tangy Tangerine is it's a rich source of B vitamins. And here's a bonus for you. One of the all-time great nerve vitamins for all nerves, brain, which is nerves, Parkinson's disease, for thinking, for emotional issues, for mental health issues, as well as for nerves in the body, that would regulate things like digestive health. If you're chronically constipated, that can be a neural problem, or neuropathies, such as peripheral neuropathies, or heart issues. The heart obviously is highly innervated organ. Vitamin B1, thiamine, and of course the Beyond Tangy Tangerine is a great source of thiamine. So that's a bonus for you. Vitamin B1, superstar for all neural issues, whether we're talking about the central nervous system, the brain, or we're talking about the periphery or innervation of any of the organs of the body, particularly if you're chronically constipated, the digestive system, and if you're dealing with heart disease also. Oh yeah, vitamin B1 thiamine is very important for blood sugar as well. It's a very important part. It's involved in blood sugar control. It's involved in how the body processes sugar, we'll say, and processes sugar into energy. So, all right, well, that's it for now. Michelle, are you on board here somewhere? Where's Michelle? Here's Michelle.
Yeah. Hi, Ben. Back again. Yeah. Now, Ben, I just want to let everyone know I've placed a QR code on the video here. And if they scan that QR code, they'll go in to find all of the digestion products that you've been speaking about.
And also, I might throw in the Synaptive in there. Why don't you throw in the Synaptive too? That's a little specific to the brain, but it may help. And also, Synaptive is just great for brain health issues in general.
Yeah, well, when they're on that site, they can just do a search and type in SYNAPTIV.
Synaptive.
That one. Yeah, but that's awesome. Thank you so much. We have people here in Australia that are really, really searching and reaching out to get help with this. And Ben, you are open to doing one-on-one coaching. So if anyone would like to have more private coaching with Ben, send us an email at info@pharmacistbenjaminfuchs.com and we can organise that. It is a fee for that, but you'll be getting one-on-one coaching with Ben to walk this through. So, yeah.
Thank you so much, Michelle.
Okay.
Thank you. Bye.
All right. Thank you. Bye.